We're working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Temera delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. And now to the news. Thailand's ruling junta took an unexpected lead in the country's first election since a 2014 coup with more than 90% of ballots counted, the election authority said late Sunday, putting it on course to return to power at the expense of the kingdom's pro-democracy camp.
อันดับแรกเลยก็คงอยากจะให้มีความเป็นประชาธิปไตยนะครับแล้วก็ลดความเหลื่อมล้ำในบ้านเมืองเราจริงๆแล้วผมว่าประชาชนทุกคนควรจะได้สิทธิเท่าเทียมกันอย่างหนึ่งเลยที่เป็นสิ่งที่เท่าเทียมกันคือการออกมาใช้สิทธิเลือกตั้ง
Meanwhile, the election, which saw an insipid 64% turnout, was held under new laws written by the military to smooth its transformation into a civilian government. While it had set the rules of the game in its favor, analysts had not expected the party to win the popular vote, given mounting anger at junta rule and the enduring popularity of Puwathai, the party of ex-premier Thaksin Shinawatrai. An analyst says, however, this will give more credibility and legitimacy, and it will allow General Prayut to claim some democratic mandate.
If they manage to form a government as expected with the help of the appointed Senate, this will give them a popular legitimacy, more credibility, legitimacy, and it would allow General Prayut to claim some democratic mandate. The showing of the future forward, I think that we are seeing voices from the young generation, especially first-time voters under 25 and beyond under 40. They want to have a new future, away from the divide, away from the polarization. No Prayut, but no Thaksin.
Sunday's crunch vote was foreshadowed by a cryptic last-minute warning from King Maha Vajiralongkorn to support good leaders to prevent chaos.
The Thaksin side associating, involving her has backfired, not just once with the Thai Raksa Chart dissolution, but I think second time now with the attendance at the wedding of his daughter, because it galvanized his opponents. They rallied around Prayut. They closed ranks. They put their forces behind Prayut because they saw that Prayut and Palang Pracharat were the forces that could keep Thaksin at bay. The Thaksin side having the princess, the sister of the king, attending the wedding party of his daughter, and then within hours after that we had a palace statement saying that voters should choose good people. This is the words from King Rama IX, who passed on but who's still very popular and widely revered. And this was hammered home again just minutes before the polls opened on election day. So that is high drama in Thai politics.
In other news, Malaysia Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad and Pakistan counterpart Imran Khan comments on Islamophobia in the wake of the mosque attacks in New Zealand, in which the country's lost 12 citizens. Take a look.
I think we can cooperate in this area so that there will be better improvement in the perception of Muslims in the world. Fighting back does not always mean killing each other. There are other ways that we can do in order to reduce this atmosphere of fear and anger and hatred towards the Muslim.
This was reflected in this Christchurch killing where a man brazenly, a terrorist, filmed shooting innocent women and children and innocent people in a mosque, and then didn't regret it. And this is because of the Islamophobia which has, especially since 9/11, has spread.
what is ASEAN, one of the most famous landmarks here in Stavanger, Norway. And if you want to see more of the tourist spots like this, just tune into Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I am managing Mihia from Stavanger, Norway, always fun with 25.
News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Welcome back to ASEAN in Focus. This is Kaloy Tamunda from the New Era University ASEAN Studies Center. In the news these days is the water shortage which Metro Manila and Rizal are currently experiencing amid the so-called weak El Nino, and considering that it is just the start of the summer season. In the provinces, drought is also affecting agriculture and farmlands. To help us analyze these situations, we are honored to have as guest once again, suki sa programa, Dr. William Dar, former Director General of the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, or ICRISAT, an institution based in India. Dr. Dar has also been a member of the UN Millennium Task Force on Hunger. Prior to joining ICRISAT, he served as Presidential Advisor for Rural Development and Secretary of Agriculture in the Philippines, the first ever alumnus of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, to become one. Before this, he served as Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Forestry and Natural Resources Research and Development, or PICARD, Director of the Bureau of Agricultural Research, and he is currently the Chairperson of Inang Lupa, a non-government organization which is devoted to developing agriculture in the country. Welcome back to the program. program,
Salamat
Dr.
po.
Lar. Maraming salamat for accepting our invitation once
Salamat
again.
po.
Okay, water crisis.
Water.
Water shortage. Is there really a water shortage in the country, considering that we have a big El Nino and summer has just started a week ago?
Kaloy, the way I see it is, itong Manila is
water.
portion ng may water crisis. It's just a symptom of a national indication that really there is a water shortage in the country.
Okay.
Now, you may consider that we may have abundant water resources in the country. However, let me state the facts. Sa rainfall, we have 1,400 millimeters annually, but we are not harvesting. Number two, we have 18 major river basins, but we have yet to understand exactly whether the forests around or the watersheds around these river basins are intact or not.
To serve as watershed to hold the water.
Correct, and we have 421 principal river basins, so smaller than that of the 18 major river basins, and 79 lakes. But we also extract 20,000 million cubic meters of water per year.
From underground?
From underground.
Okay.
So what I'm saying here is we have two major sources: surface water, which is in the ratio of 4:1 vis-a-vis underground water.
So there's more surface water?
Yes.
Than underground water.
Correct.
And yet we're extracting more underground water.
Now, why this shortage?
Okay.
Let me also first cite the studies of Asian Development Bank. Out of 48 countries that they studied, I understand we are now in the 38th rank, where it is considered a water-stressed country already.
We are a water-stressed country already.
Yes. So, in effect, I can sum up by saying this is a result of what I call inappropriate management practices. At a bigger scale, this is the result of a poor governance for water resources in this country.
So poor governance, because there's really, there's global warming, there's climate change, but we really have water resources right now. So
Correct.
It's just a matter of, when you say poor governance, it's a matter of course, managing water resources. It's a matter of distributing them to the final
Let
users.
me cite the facts about how many agencies are working on water or having some responsibilities on water. 32 government agencies are there.
Repeat that again, please.
We have 32 government agencies or institutions that have something to do with water resources.
Okay.
And yet, no one is not among these 32 agencies would be considered the apex water body that should have, orchestrated the policies, how to grow and develop the water resources, and harmonizing there are conflicting laws and regulations. As a result of all of this, various bodies or institutions engaged in water resources development.
Shouldn't that be the role of the National Water Resources Board?
To some extent, the National Water Resources Board, which is now placed under the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, is the body, but I would surmise that they don't have enough teeth to really, put to order and orchestrate the policy directions in water resources development.
Yeah, but the thing is, has anybody in these 32 agencies projected that we will come to this shortage crisis where we are now?
The water, there was a group again under the purview of NEDA and DNR, and bringing in private sector and other institutions to discuss again water security for this country. And that for the last almost 2.5 years, we had various stakeholder consultations in various regions, and the culminating National Water Security Summit was only done last March 21.
Okay, so you were there. You were one of the conveners. You were one of the main presenters.
Yes, I presented Cluster C, which is all about water security in agriculture and economic sectors.
Okay, in those more than 2 years you were having these activities, hasn't anybody taken the lead in really identifying that come 2019 we will have this water shortage? Hasn't that been touched in your meetings?
I don't know if that was part of the discussion, but we were, yes, of course we were looking forward to solving, if not putting in place, a good structural set of reforms to put in place this Department of Water. You know, from a layman's perspective in regard now to the existing water crisis in Metro Manila, it's about understanding that you have increasing number of people that will have to use water, and have we anticipated in terms of updating our distribution and treatment system, so that treatment and distribution system, so that we really anticipate increasing volume that will be needed by Metro Manila. That's one. I'm referring to the one of them, you know, Manila Water.
Yes.
The other side of that would be from government. Have we anticipated this shortfall, and have we had that foresight in terms of developing potential other sources of water for Metro Manila this early? So again, it's really proactively and having to plan early enough, have that foresight to develop the very requirements, the water requirements for various cities and areas in this country.
So let me get this straight. The reason why we're having this water crisis now is not really because we lack water, because we have the surface water and we have the
underground water.
And of course, we know that population is increasing, so there's bigger demand for water. What you're saying effectively is...
On top of that is climate change.
Yes, climate change. And we know about
El Niño
that.
Is here, yes.
And El Niño is just, is a weak El Niño, and summer has just started. And we have this water crisis already. So in short, you're saying that it's really a matter of mismanagement.
It is mismanagement on the part of the concessionaire.
In the part of the concessionaires, the private concessionaires.
Yes.
But these private concessionaires are supposed to be under the oversight of government agencies,
regulatory body.
So they failed. Is it a failure of projection, or really a failure of? You said
it's
they were not proactive
lack of
enough.
foresight. It's not being able to appreciate the challenges brought about by increasing population. And now with El Niño, it will aggravate. Although claims today are that Angat Dam, which is the major source of the water for Metro Manila, still is at normal levels. But just recently also Pag-asa indicated, and because of the occurrence of El Niño phenomenon, that the level will really go down by the end of April. The water level.
And we expect this summer to last until May.
Yeah,
so
summertime. And also forecasts have been given that this El Niño will linger up to August.
Wow. Considering that we just started the summer, and we have a big El Niño, and we already lack water in Metro Manila and in many other parts of the country. Okay, you talked about the national Water Summit Towards Water Security, which was held March 21, 2019 at Novotel Hotel in Cubao, Quezon City. What was this summit all about? Okay, so
as a result of this 2.5-year consultation, there were, 3 clusters that wrote their report to the plenary.
So 3 clusters, okay.
So yeah, 3 clusters. One on the use for municipal and household.
So this is the domestic and urban cluster, okay.
And the other one is on
governance, resilience, and environmental sectors.
And my cluster is on agriculture and economic sectors.
Okay, so what were the discussions all about?
Okay, number one among the key reform areas, there is a convergence of ideas that in the 3 reports there is a big consideration or a proposal. Because of the 32, agencies working on water with no apex body, there is a strong need for this country to create its Department of Water.
Department of Water. So wouldn't that be an additional layer in the bureaucracy?
I think while true it is additional bureaucracy, but all the studies would indicate that we need an apex body that will rationalize everything, that will harmonize everything,
the work of the 32
and integrate
government agencies.
The functioning of water-related agencies.
So that's the main recommendation.
Yeah,
to come up with
and tied up with the creation is also a creation of a water regulatory commission.
Okay.
Which will handle regulation and tariffs.
Okay.
So because again, water is an economic resource, it has to be treated like that. There will be conflicts in terms, of use for agriculture, municipal and industry. So at the end of the day, we really have to balance everything.
Okay, we will talk more about the different issues discussed during the National Water Summit. You can catch the whole interview in the ASEAN in Focus weekend. In the meantime, thank you very much, Dr. Lar. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Kaloy Tabunda. I'm 1 with 25, and back to you, Judith.
Thank you, Dr. Kaloy Tabunda, for that very special interview. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Demera, and I'm 1 with 25.